Welcome to our calculus series. Today, we are diving into the area problem. This is the foundational concept that motivates one of the two main pillars of calculus, the integral. Before we learn how to integrate complex functions, we first need to understand the geometric problem we are trying to solve. You might be asking, why do we care so much about finding the area? Well, it is not just about measuring land. In physics and engineering, area represents accumulated quantities. For example, if you graph velocity against time, the area under that graph tells you the total distance traveled. It connects a rate of change back to a total quantity. We already know how to find the area of simple geometric shapes. We have formulas for rectangles, triangles, and circles. Even complex polygons can be broken down into smaller triangles. As long as the sides are straight lines, we can use basic geometry to get an exact answer. But here is the challenge. What happens when the boundary is curved? How do we find the exact area under a function like this parabola? Our standard geometric formulas do not apply here because the top edge changes constantly. We need a new approach. Since we cannot calculate the curved area directly, we use a strategy called approximation. We replace the complicated curved shape with simple shapes we do know how to calculate, rectangles. By slicing the area into vertical strips, we can estimate the total area. One way to draw these rectangles is using the left endpoint method. Here, the height of each rectangle is determined by the function's value at the left side of the subinterval. Notice how some parts of the rectangles stay below the curve, while others might stick out. This gives us an approximation, but it is not perfect. Alternatively, we can use the right endpoint method. In this case, the height of each rectangle is determined by the function's value at the right side of the interval. Just like before, this gives us an estimate. Depending on whether the function is increasing or decreasing, this might overestimate or underestimate the true area. So how do we get a better answer? The secret lies in the number of rectangles. Look at what happens when we increase n, the number of rectangles. With 4 rectangles, the error is large. With 10, it fits better. With 50, the rectangles hug the curve almost perfectly. The gaps become tiny. This leads us to the core concept of calculus, the limit. Imagine if we could use an infinite number of rectangles. The width of each rectangle would become infinitesimally small, approaching 0. As the number of rectangles goes to infinity, the sum of their areas approaches the exact area under the curve. Mathematicians developed a special notation for this infinite limit, the definite integral. The symbol itself is an elongated S, standing for sum. It tells us to sum up all the infinitesimally thin rectangles of height f of x and width dx from point A to point B. This gives us the exact area. To summarize, the area under a velocity curve represents distance. We approximate curved areas using Riemann sums, which are just fancy collections of rectangles. By taking the limit as the number of rectangles goes to infinity, we find the exact area. This limit is what we call the definite integral.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.